Name, Joe?
Schwebel.
Okay, and can you spell that for me? This is for, we do this for audio purposes, make sure we have good levels.
Schwebel, as in boy, E-L.
Okay, good. And what is your position with the company?
President.
Short stories that you tell is when you came in, were expecting to run General Motors, and you walked in your first day. Tell us what your first day was like at Schwebel Baking Company.
Well, you have to realize that I had graduated from a very prestigious business school, the University of Pennsylvania Wharton School of Finance. And I really thought I was big stuff. And it was the only university at the time where you had to write an undergraduate thesis, which in mine was the methodology of problem solving. So they really taught me how to run GM and so on, and I got to the bakery, and my grandmother was running the bakery, and I asked her in the hall, I said, Grandma, where's my office? And she said, well, come on into my office. Come on in here. And she sat me down, and she said, Joe, I want you to know one thing. We've been making a lot of money here without you for all these years. And we had 39 routes at the time. And she said, tomorrow I want you to ride route number 1. It goes to Warren, Ohio. It leaves the bakery at 5 o'clock in the morning. Then the next day I want you to ride route number 2. It goes to Camel, Ohio. It leaves at 4:30 in the morning. And when you finish riding all 39 routes, then you come in and we'll talk about, what you're going to do next. So the message is very simple. You don't learn this business out of a book. You learn this business on the street. This is a street business, and don't let anybody kid you. You got to be out there every day with the folks, making a great product and offering great service, and that's where it happens.
Salesman taught you something. I think Woody taught you something. I've heard this story. I'd like to hear it from you. Get the facts.
Well, this is probably a little embarrassing, but I think this might have happened one of the summers that I was riding routes, or might have been after I started officially with the company. But one thing, sometimes in the morning you like to sleep late, so I would always pick the route that was closest to the bakery. He didn't leave he didn't leave till around 10 to 7. And he had a great personality. The guy kept you in stitches. He made me do all the work. He was a real sharp bread man and had a great personality. He could, get away with anything, with anybody. And I rode with him this one day, and we were having lunch at Palazzo's at the counter. And all of a sudden, he's sitting a couple seats from me because we couldn't get seats together at the counter. And he's talking to the guy next to him, and he's talking about, well, he'd like to trade watches with this guy, sight unseen, and he puts his hand on his watch, and and it sounded pretty interesting to me, this whole thing. And so pretty soon the whole counter is going around with, everybody's putting their hand on their watches, and they want to trade watches. So I had I think I had a nice, it was either a Gruen or a Benris, but it was a real nice watch, and it had been fairly expensive, but I'm here.
Was it your bar mitzvah watch?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was it might have been I don't think so. I don't think it was my bar mitzvah watch, but it was a good watch. And because I don't think I got a watch for my bar mitzvah, but I think I got a fountain pen, as a matter of fact. But at any rate, sure enough, I wanted to, I loved to compete, and I loved, I liked the whole idea of this, this watch exchange, and I'm hearing these names, and I thought I was going to end up with some, some real exotic watch. So I ended up trading with Woody, as it turned out, and he got my Benris, and his watch, I'll never forget, was called an Altus, an Altus, and it was the junkiest watch you'd ever see in the world, but that was the deal. And he, he got my watch and I got his, and I learned a little bit that day.
I want you to